Stavros Tousios for M4Markets, and we're going to have a quick look at eurodollar and Nasdaq today, guys. We have actually fallen back within this base trend. I would say no more acceleration for the eurodollar for a while now. And interestingly enough, we do see an actual divergence here along with sort of putting a resistance in at the 23 Fibonacci at 107, we can say, rounded it up. And while we do see that, and if you remember from yesterday's video, that starts to look like a diagonal. So yes, I do know we do see an actual divergence now, but let's not forget, guys, that this divergence is going to be valid until we go down to around the 26% on the oversold territory. And we are now up to around 43. So that means that even for down to like 35, we still have room to drop. Judging by the structure so far, and because we have an actual move to the downside that looks like a correction rather than anything else, yes, there is, kind of good chances that we're going to see something like this play out. Now, at the same time, let's not forget that we have actually come to a territory at 1062, which is very strong, high activity, right? And we tagged that level. Now, if we fall below that low as well, tapping into that territory even deeper, then that will mean that they're bears are testing that area, and then usually what happens, we see a bounce and then further continuation. So one of the important levels that we need to look at is the 104.84, which is previous support and resistance over here. That's flipped actually over here. So that's going to be a very important level, guys. Yes, I do see the divergence and there is some sort of bias to the upside, but I prefer to see more downside for this to actually be able to offer a better move to a better correction. It doesn't necessarily mean we cannot go higher, but as always, we're gonna have to pay attention to the 50. Okay, of course, 38 first comes, we are down to 23 now, so 107.08, it's a very important short-term resistance for us. And of course, the bottom is 106.120. We are pretty much right in the middle, and we can go either way today, intraday trading and ahead of the FOMC minutes. Nasdaq, we have mentioned that sort of acceleration up here, and we were looking for another leg up. We did lose the channel again, and we returned back within this territory, which means we are also in a base trend equally to what the eurodollar is pretty much. We lost the acceleration in both cases and momentum has fallen. Now, here's the interesting part. We are in an oversold territory on the Nasdaq, and by the 50%, that typically means a bounce is due. And we have to also take into account the fact that we are probably still within a bearish channel over here, right? So there is some sort of support indeed, because we have quite a few levels actually lining up at this level, which is also around level of 12K. But let's not also forget that if we go closer and we look at this a little bit more, with a more focused eye, okay, we had a false break and we returned back with it. So it is important, and since we see some sort of divergence here, it is important that we go up in order for us to see some sort of pullback and retest at least 12.18. Otherwise, and if we fail to cross the 12.11 or so, and then we either consolidate, and typically that means more downside even in the short term, or we fall straight down and we make an actual move down to around the 11.68 or so. Again, we might see activity remaining a little bit idle during the session, because the FOMC minutes are a very important have a very heavy weight this time around since the last FOMC, because we've seen some hot data coming out like unemployment, retail sales. Yesterday was the PMI, and everybody is expecting to see whether the Fed is going to actually hike 25 or 50 the next meeting.